and I hope all people that wanted to join are already here. So hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Custom Fields Basics in Empower. I'm really excited to share my knowledge and experience about custom fields with you, and it's fantastic to see so many people interested in this topic. Trainings on custom fields are my favorite ones. They really make your brain work, and there are so many ways to use them. And it's always delightful to solve new challenges and automate calculations with custom fields. So I hope you share my passion about custom fields and want to learn about them. So let's start. You can hear me all, yes? Maybe can you confirm that you hear me good, that the internet connection is great? I see, great. So, a short introduction about me. My name is Inessa Peters. I'm the founder of LabWissen, based in Switzerland. I have several years' experience working in pharmaceutical quality control, both as analyst and a QC manager. So I worked by Eurofins, Merck, Sanofi in Germany. And then on one happy day, I changed to Waters. And I worked there also for a couple of years and have trained many analysts on using Empower in their labs. And the beginning of this year, I founded my own company, LabWissen, specializing in Empower trainings and consulting. So, you probably all work in Empower, I suppose so. And you know that the topic of custom fields is quite broad. So usually it takes a full day of training to cover all possible functions. And as I was preparing this webinar, I focused on giving you the most valuable knowledge in a short time. So following the Pareto principle, you'll learn roughly 20% of the functionality that will help you create 80% of your custom fields, let's say so. So over the next 2 hours, we'll learn what custom fields are and why they matter. We go through different types of custom fields and how to use each one. We'll see how to create custom fields step by step. In this part, I've prepared 7 examples for you, 7 examples of different types of custom fields. So we will go through each of them, and we will discuss here what functions matter to each type of custom field. And also, I'm going to share with you tips for avoiding common mistakes and getting the most from your setup. So by the end of this webinar, you're going to gain a solid overview of what is possible with custom fields. You will learn the basics of creating your own custom fields, and you will feel confident applying custom fields in your daily work. And before we start with sharing knowledge, here are some notes, organizational notes. This webinar is being recorded, so all participants will receive a link to the recording afterwards. Furthermore, you will receive a separate email with the full presentation from this webinar. So, of course, you're very welcome to do notes, to write down insights that you pick up, but you don't need to copy every slide. You get all slides from me per email. Also, in the mail that you will get from me, there will be a survey to this webinar, including a short, very, very simple test. So if you want to get a certificate of participation, just complete the survey and the certificate will be sent to your email. Regarding the questions, if you get any questions during this webinar, please post them in the Q&A section. We have it here in Teams. You see there is a button in the upper part of the window. So please post your question there. And it will help me a lot if you write next to your questions also a slide number or a topic which this question refers to. And at the end of the webinar, we are going to have like 20, 30 minutes Q&A section, so I can answer your questions. What else? Yeah, your cameras and microphones are muted. We are quite a lot of participants, so normally I don't do this by normal trainings, because normally it's like 10 people. Now we are almost 100. So I thought, so we don't interrupt each other, it would be better if we just Q&A session instead. So by now, are there any questions? Maybe you can check Q&A if it's working, if you can find it. So then let's move on with our first chapter, what custom fields are and why they matter. So just a short introduction. What are we going to talk about today? So custom fields are fields that allow users to enter additional information about samples and to perform calculations calculations are already performed in Empower. So it's like really, really mighty software. But of course, developers cannot put all necessary calculations in Empower, and often you need to do your calculations in Excel, so outside of the software. Instead of doing this, there is this custom fields function that allows you to personalize your Empower, to develop your own calculation inside. And also you can do custom fields to enter additional informations about your samples, about your analysis. So we have like two types of custom fields, two main types of custom fields. The input fields, so the custom fields we use to add additional information, and the output fields. Those custom fields we use to do calculations and to perform evaluations of our data. So why do we need custom fields? First of all, to store extra details about samples in the Empower database. So all your information about your analysis, you can enter in Empower in the custom fields you built. And you know, when something already in Empower inside, it's like secure, it's safe, you cannot delete it, it will not disappear. So you have everything in the Empower database. Also, you can include all this information in your reports. So custom fields appear automatically in your report publisher. So you just put them in your report method. You don't need to do like extra work putting them to the report publisher. They will appear there automatically. So it's quite easy to adjust your reports with your custom fields. And the last, and I think the most important one here, you can perform calculations not available in the standard software. So when you're good in custom fields, you can skip Excel, you do all custom calculations in Empower, and your calculations will be automated, and it works great. So where do we find and where do we create custom fields? We create custom fields in Configuration Manager in projects. So when you go to Configuration Manager, you should select project where you want to create your custom field. And then you go to the properties of this project. And there you can find the Custom Fields tab. Here you will see 7 default custom fields. They are always there. By every project, every new project created, there are always these 7 custom fields. You don't need to do anything with them. You just create new ones and they appear in the list, in this list. A short tip directly here, we are always creating custom fields in a test project. Please never create them in your working project, with your real data. Always create an extra project for your custom fields. Put some test data inside, and only after you checked your custom fields that it's working properly, then copy it to your working projects. So at this window, we see these 5 buttons, 5 functions, what we can do with custom fields. We can create new custom fields. We can adjust, modify existing custom fields. So this edit button allows you to change your custom field. And it's also very useful when you want to show properties of your custom fields. Like you want to see all settings about your custom field. Then you just pick up from this list the custom field you are interested in, and then you click Edit, and there you will see a window with all settings of this custom field. And this is very useful when you document your custom field. You just make a screenshot and put it in your document. I forgot here to put the screenshot of it, but when you start creating custom fields, you will notice, you will know what I mean. Delete. Sure, it's possible to delete custom fields. Then lock and unlock. Very important function in the GMP field environment, because when you create a custom field, you check that it works properly. Before you start using it with your real data, you want to lock it. In this case, no other users will be able to modify it. Yeah, it would be really critical if it could be modified when it's already used in your working project. But it's also possible to unlock custom field and modify it, of course, if you need to make any changes. But for both of these functions, you need to have a privilege. So your user type has to have privilege that allows you to unlock custom fields, but also to create custom fields. So not all users in Empower can do it. It depends on the setting that you have in your company. And the last, also very important function here, save to project. So we pick up the custom field we want to use in the working project. We click Save to Project, and then we can select projects where we want to copy this custom field to. Yeah. So we have test project, we create custom fields there, we prove them, we log them, and then we copy them to the projects where we want to use them. So I hope that's clear, and we can go further. If any questions come, put them directly in the Q&A section. We'll discuss them later. So we are very fast. We are going directly to the second part, types of custom fields and how to use each one. So when you start creating a new custom field, you see this window. That is the first window that comes to you. And here you should choose the field type and the data type. Field type defines which objects the custom field refers to and where it appears in Empower. And data type defines how the custom field is used, or what does the custom field do. Is it used to enter information, to perform calculations, or to do evaluations? Now we go through each type. So let's take a look at field types. Here we can also separate input fields from output fields. So from these field types, the input fields are sample. Sample custom fields appear in your sample set table. It's like a separate column, and you can put information to each sample with it. So this is input field. You can use it for put in some extra comments, extra information about your samples, but you can also use it to enter some values you want to use further in further calculations. Then sample set. This custom field applies to the entire sample set. It's not so popular, so it's mostly used to add comment to the entire analysis. Yeah. For example, you have some trackwise number, some Abweichung, deviation. You have some deviation. Then you want to add number of this deviation to the sample set. So it's recorded in the database. It's recorded by this sample set. Then you can create extra custom field for it. And we also have a component custom field. This applies to each component in the component editor. So this custom field is used to enter extra variables, constants that you use in further calculations. I suppose you all know what component editor is, and you know there is this value purity tab, and then when you create a component custom field, it appears as a new tab next to this value purity tab. And the other three are output fields. These are used for calculations and evaluations. Result relates to a single result for the entire chromatogram. For example, you want to find out which peak has the minimum area among all peaks. So you can use it. So we look through all peaks inside one result, and we pick one that has the minimum area. That's an example for result custom field. Peak custom fields. I suppose that is one of the most popular ones. It relates to each integrated peak in the chromatogram. And the last one here, distribution. It relates to each slice of a peak. It's only a GPC option, get information chromatography. If you don't use it, if you don't have this option, this module in Empower, it even won't appear here. So you will have only 5 field types. So now let's go to the data types. We also have here 6 of them. Integer, used mostly for the input fields. It's a number, whole number, without any decimals. Text, used for comments normally. It's as alphanumeric entry, used for input fields. Date, that is date entry by user or external source, used for input fields. Saying truly, I never used this one. Maybe someone can share later the experience of using it, but I never used it. Why should I put date in my custom? Okay, I can assume maybe if I do my sample prep and then I put date inside, but I can use text instead, right? So never used it, never heard someone using it, but it's there. You can try it by you. The next one, real, the most common one for calculations. It's a number with decimals. We can use it for both input and output fields. So for output fields, clear for calculations. For input fields, to put some variables that are used in the further calculations. That is input field. And the last two, Boolean. That is used for yes-no evaluation for output fields. With this type, we can set questions which gives us yes-no answer. So is the area of the peak greater than yes, greater than 100? When yes, give me answer greater than 100. When no, give me answer not relevant, something like that. But don't worry, we are going to take a closer look at it when we have our examples. And enum. Enum, very interesting type. It's also used for evaluations, quite similar with bool. And it's also used to create drop-down lists. as an input field for drop-down list. So if you have any questions to this part, put them in the chat. And now we go to the next part. It's the biggest one. So how to create custom fields step by step. Here I prepared 7 examples for you. And we go like from one of this very simple one, and we go up, building up our knowledge about custom fields. And we are going to discuss here different custom fields types. And to each one, I will show you what you have to pay attention at. So, example number 1. I want to create a custom field called analysis comment, and it should be used to capture additional notes or remarks about the current analysis. It should be a free text input, and it should be applied at the sample set level. So now a little quiz for you. Maybe you can use chat to answer it. So what will be the field type and the data type of it? Oh, I tell. Oh, sample type. Sample set text. So, any other ideas? So I suppose you got the idea. Great. So it's a sample set custom field because we applied it on the sample set level. So we analysis comments, we need like only one comment for the whole sample set. That's why it's a sample set type. And data type is text. I just want to have text there. I just want to type something inside. So text. So that's what you pick up here. Just pick sample set, then you click text, and then you click next. And then you come to the source selection. Here you can ignore this page normally. We are going to discuss a bit later, more detailed it, but maybe we can take a look here, like data source, keyboard, clear. I want to type it in, then it's called keyboard. If I would connect some extra system something, then I use external, but never used it. And calculated we use for calculations. And as we picked sample set and text, Empower knows that it cannot be calculated. So you cannot do here anything wrong. Then you have text parameters window. Here you should select reads, or you can leave it at default. What does it mean, reads? It's like how many characters you can put in this field. You can, here when your maximum number that you can enter is 250. So if you really need to write a huge text, yes, you suppose you will write a huge text in this custom field, you should then increase this number. Or you can also limit it if it's only, you suppose it's something like trackwise number, and it's like, I don't have no idea how many numbers are in a trackwise number. But for example, it's 7, and you want to limit it to 7 to avoid any typos or any extra comments put here, then you can limit it to 7. Or if you know, okay, 20 is enough, leave it here. But really think about it, because when you already, created custom field, documented it, worked it, and put in your working projects, and you found out that oh, it's not enough 20 for my regular comments. It's like quite annoying to change all the things, but it's possible to modify it. This one is possible to modify. And here, quite quick, we come to the last window, field name. So what is the name of custom field? Analysis comment in my case. And here I can pick up where should I save this custom field in the current project, or I can save it directly in multiple projects. But if you are working in GMP, and I suppose that most of you do, please never save it directly to multiple projects. So there is this possibility, but as we talked before, first test project, then check, validate, log, and then only then you copy it to the other projects. So just stay always here by the first option. So next, where does this custom field appear? It appears when you go to the auto sample window, and then you click edit sample set information. There you can find sample set information window. And there you find some information about your sample set, and there this custom field will appear. And here you can make your entry. So it will appear at every new sample set, but it also will appear at the sample sets that are already there in your project. So any questions here? Put them in the Q&A part. And yeah, we go further. This was an easy one. But here, before we go further to the second example, there are some naming rules. I would say a bit annoying naming rules, because when you start giving a name to your custom field, you type, for example, name you want the custom field to have, and then it complains. So you cannot do anything wrong with your naming, because Empower will note it and it will complain. But to understand for you why it will complain, here are these rules. So custom field cannot start with a number. So you cannot do like this one label claim. Then you're not allowed to use spaces. You can use only underscores instead. For here, you see, I used label claim, and the previous one, I used analysis underspace comment underscore, sorry. Then you're not allowed to use any special characters. So no brackets, no dashes, no percent symbol. So for example, you need to do calculations and you want to make in a name, write percent area. You cannot write percent as a symbol, you can write it with a word. Yeah. So it's not very convenient. So that's it. So here it's wrong, we cannot use number, we cannot use dash. Here it's wrong, we cannot use space. Here is it wrong, we cannot use brackets. One extra rule here, alphabetical order matters, it can affect interdependent calculations. What I exactly mean here? I will make a little picture for you when we discuss naming. So naming. So when you create custom fields that dependent to each other, so you have one, then you use it in the further calculation, then you use it in the further calculation. Then Empower calculates always in the alphabetical order. So, for example, I have custom fields that's called A, and it should take area and divide it by 1000. Then I have custom field B that takes custom field A and makes minus 200. And then I take custom field C that takes custom field B and multiplies it with 0.5. So in this case, everything will be great because I'm calculating A first, then B will be calculated, and when B is calculated, A should be already calculated by this time. So at this time, when I calculate B, A has already been calculated. And then will be calculated C. It's also great because B is already available. Let me show another situation. I have custom field C that takes area and divides it by 1,000. Then I have custom field B that takes C minus 200. And then I have custom field A that takes B and multiplies it. So in this case, first will be calculated A. And then here is a question. Where is my B? What is B? I don't have B at this point. So this one won't be calculated. Then I want to calculate B. And here Empower looks for C. But where is C? C hasn't been calculated yet. Also won't be calculated. And only then will be C calculated. So there is no problem. Areas are there, everything great. So it refers to complex calculations, but I thought I put it directly here. So you have it in one place, all naming rules. So alphabetical order matters. It can affect interdependent calculations. Yes. So I see here in the chat question from Rakesh. This will be used while created new sample set. I think you mean the custom field that we created that refers to the sample set. Yes, we can put the sample set information when creating a new sample set, but also to the sample sets that already exist. I hope I answered your question. So let's go further to the example number 2. I'll let you one moment to write any questions if you had to the example number 1. So example number 2. Storage conditions. You probably know what stability studies are. And when we analyze the samples, we need to put conditions. What conditions, at which conditions the sample was stored at. Yeah, it was just taken to this example. So I want to have a custom field that records the storage conditions of samples in stability studies. So it should be a drop-down list with zones from 1 to 4 applied in the sample set for each sample. So again, the same question, what is the field type and what is the data type? So I already see some answers in the chat. Many thanks for participating. When you want to post question, please use Q&A part instead. So in Teams, you have 2 buttons above. You have chat button and Q&A button. And because questions will go up and I won't be able to find them afterwards. So I want to have all questions separately in the Q&A section. So here's most of, yeah, I see the right answers, great. So that is the input field. It uses field type sample because I want to document storage conditions for each sample. It's not like sample set, yeah, because it will only refer to the all sample set. I can enter only one comment, but if I want to enter to each sample line, I need to use field type sample. And data type enum, enum is used for the drop-down list. So that's how it looks like in your first page of custom field wizard. And you click next. We skip this one, just ignore it, go next, leave default values here. And then the most interesting one is here. You get a table with two columns, value and translation. And in the translation column, you put your options. You put options that should appear in the custom field, in this drop-down list. Values always go from 0 up to, I have no idea what is the limit. So you can really enter many, many options here. I have never heard that somebody came to the limit, so I have no idea how many is it. Is it 100 or 200 options? But I suppose when you create drop-down lists, you never need like so many options. Here in my case, I have 4, but actually I put here 5. So you probably notice that at this field, first one, I didn't put anything. So why did I do this? Because I want to have a possibility enter here my own comment. So something else. And to do this, I have to leave one option empty. So if I put the zones starting from 0 and don't leave any empty one, I will only be able to pick up from this form. And in case I want to enter something else, it won't be possible. Yeah, just a little trick how you do it. Because I've seen it many times. People created their options and they are wondering can't I put anything else inside, only these options. Yeah, so it's quite useful to leave the empty one. And yes, so you're unlimited. Maybe when someone is quite curious, can try to find out what is the limit. Write me then. I'm curious too. What is the limit? So this was storage conditions. I put the name here. And then where do I find this custom field? In the sample set. So either I see it when I create sample set method, or I see it after I acquired my data in the sample set. It will appear there and there. Yeah, it will appear automatically. So storage conditions, and here I can pick up my condition. So I find these custom fields very, very useful for drop-down lists because it makes everything more structured for people who like structure, for people who like that everything looks, clear. Just use it. Yes, so all analysts write the same way. Yeah, because I know sometimes it can be like someone writes zone space 1, somebody writes zone 1, and for someone it can be annoying, for someone not. So depends on your personality if you want to make it more clear in your lab so it looks nicely. It's very useful way to do it. Yeah. So any questions to the example 2, creation of drop-down lists? So take a moment to write your questions in the Q&A section. Great. So let's go further to the fourth example. No, third, only third. So example number 3. And now we come to calculations. Oh, I've just seen one question in the chat. Matthias, I will answer it directly. Will these informations be carried in the results report? Yes. All custom fields appear automatically in the report publisher. You just need to put them in your report methods as you do it for all other fields. So as soon as you create custom field, it works exactly as other fields like area, percent area, amount. So you can use it exactly the same way in your report methods as other fields. Great. So now example number 3, corrected amount. I want to calculate amount multiplied with factor. And the factor is defined as a separate custom field entered by the analyst individually for each comment, for each component. Yeah. So please now think what will be the field type and the data type here. Yeah, and a note here, we have two custom fields. Yes, we have two custom fields here, one for factor and one for the calculation itself. So any ideas about field types and data types? Yeah, regarding questions in the Q&A, I will discuss them later in the Q&A section. I hope it's okay for you. So we have special time reserved in the end of this webinar for the Q&A session. So I see some answers. Let's go directly here, back to our presentation. So custom field 1 is factor. So we want to have an input field where we enter our factor, and it will be component and data type real. And the second one, to calculate the corrected amount itself, is an output field with field type peak and data type real. And the formula that we are going to use will be amount multiplied by factor. So when we create the first one, the factor, we select component, and we'll see when we click here on component, then we won't be able to pick up anything else because component allows only the real data type. Then here come these two settings in question. Data try is required, this checkbox. If activated, the analyst must provide a value for the custom field before the sample set can be saved. So you created your sample set method, and it complains if you don't enter any number there. So it happens only if you check this box, data and try is required. Default value. This value will be automatically assigned to a custom field when a new sample set is created. It can be overwritten by the user if needed, and it's very useful for fields that are used in further calculations, like ours. So if there is no default value, so if you don't put any default value here, and the analyst leaves the field empty, no further calculations will be performed. So the question is, do you need it or you don't need it? For example, in our case, corrected amount. If we leave everything here as it is, not activating data entry required and default value, if we don't enter anything of this, then when we don't enter any factor, our corrected amount won't be calculated. But when we always want corrected amount to be calculated. And for example, in some cases, we enter a factor, but in some cases, we can say corrected amount is equals amount and factor just 1. Then we can set default value 1. Yeah. So it depends on your requirements, what you need. But I hope it's clear what exactly these two settings mean. Then we come to numeric parameters. Define if needed or leave at default values. Sometimes you don't need to enter here anything, like it's mostly that it works for most custom fields. So width, number of digits displayed, maximum 15. Empower always calculates with up to 15 digits, regardless of what is displayed. And precision, its number of decimals to enter. That is really critical by the component type. So if you put here precision 2, but you need to enter a number with 3 decimals, it won't let you. So you can only enter 2. So set here how many you enter, or you can set like more, like 5, but you always enter 2 or 3. Yes, so it will automatically put zeros back to your number. So it really matters like what does Empower let you enter. And this parameter minimum value and maximum value, it's allowed value range. Yeah, for example, you need to enter something in percent, and you know percents can be only from 0 to 100. Then you can set here minimum value to 0 and maximum value to 100. Why do I ever need it? It just security. So to avoid any errors, any typos, so I don't enter 102 by accident, something like that. Yeah, but it's not really necessary at all. Yeah. Good. So where does this custom field appear? In the component editor, next to your value and purity tabs as a separate tab factor. Yeah. You see here, I entered factor for A, but I haven't entered factor for B. So we'll see what happens next. We are going to calculate next the corrected amount. So that is like a very simple calculation with field type peak, because I want to calculate it for each peak. So amount is a peak parameter, and I want to do calculation for each peak. That's why that is a peak custom field, peak field type. Real, because it's a calculation. Here is my formula, just amount multiplied by a factor. So here, let's take a look at the source selection. We have here sample type and peak type. Sample type defines which types of samples are included in calculations. So do I want to calculate corrected amount only for standards, or maybe only for unknowns, controls, or combinations of this? Or do I want to calculate it for all sample types? You can define it here by sample type. Very similar is the peak type. Here we defined if the calculation should be done for all peaks, or maybe only for the founds, or for unknowns, or for groups, or combination of this. You can specify what this custom field will be calculated for. So, and the next very interesting window, formula entry. So here we put our formula. We have here above a question, a box, where we type into our formula. Below we have all available fields, and next to it, all available operations. Fields here, these are all fields that can be used in the calculation. Here we see the standard Empower fields and also the previously created custom fields. They appear here automatically. So in our case, I want to multiply amount with sector. So I can either type just this text in, or I pick it from the list. I always recommend to pick up from the list because very often we do mistakes. Yeah, we do really often mistakes. So please pick up just it from your list. The list is huge, very, very long because we have enormous amount of fields being existing in Empower, but I'm very happy that at this point, they are sorted all alphabetically. So you just, if you need to find factor, you just type F on your keyboard and you come directly to all custom fields named with F. Yeah, so quite easy. Maybe amount, you will never do any mistake by typing it, or area, but see, here's threshold. I don't like this word. I never can write it right. I think it's the most complicated word in English to write, at least in Empower. So I would always just double click and this will appear in my formula. Then we have operations here. We have something standard like plus, minus, multiply, divide. But also we have operations similar to Excel, like AV, average, or there's also sum. Yeah. The full list of these operations you can find in the Empower help. And we discuss some of them during the next examples. So yeah, you can just pick up here multiply from the list or just type it from your keyboard. Yes, that was this to formula entry. Always double check it. If you typed it wrong, Empower will complain. So it won't let you type amount without T. It will really complain. So it's not like you can do a lot of wrong here, but you know, troubleshooting here when you see it and you have big formula and you're thinking, where's my mistake? Yes, why is it complaining? Yeah, always double check it. Great thing here, it's more relevant for very big formulas. You can write them in Word, yes, and then copy paste. Yeah, but it's only like necessary when you have huge formulas. Yeah, but copy paste works if you need it. Okay, let's go further. Corrected amount we see later in our picks table. So pick custom fields appear in the picks table. So in your review window, you can see pick table and you will see there your new custom field. Yes, and there will be calculation for each peak. But you see here, there is no calculation for peak B in my case. Why? Because I haven't entered factor for the peak B. Yes, so here calculation it does not appear. Yeah, so that's how it looked like. I entered value for both peaks, but I entered factor only for the peak A. So corrected amount for the peak B couldn't be calculated because there is no factor. Yeah. That's what we discussed a couple slides before. Good, let's go further. Example number 4. Please put your questions if needed in the list. Alexander, maybe I can answer your question directly. So can one choose peak type and also mark the missing peaks? Yes. So there's more like advanced setting. So missing peak. It's quite, I would say it's quite rare situation or more like advanced situation and a little bit funny. Why do I need to do calculation for missing peaks? but it's used more like for evaluations. For example, I want to check if my area is less than 100. Just some example I just found out. I want to check my area if it's less than 100. Then I have a list of my peaks, and there is one peak code C, and it states it's not there, it's missing peak. And I want this custom field also show me for this peak C that is not there, that its area is less than 100. Yeah. Why do I need it? Maybe because I want to see it in the report, the whole table of all my peaks. There will be also this peak C that is not there, and there will be stain. It's not relevant or its area less than 100. So that's why we need this missing peak. Yeah. I hope it was clear what it's meaning here, missing peak. If you want to do calculations for missing peaks, yeah, it's a bit funny. So, dun, 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 dun. We are now by the example number 4. So I take a cup of, I take, drink some water now, and you have time to put your questions in the Q&A section. So let's go to the 4th example. Check of the corrected amount. So the story continues. We got factor, we calculated corrected amount, and then now we want to do further calculations with this corrected amount. Actually, we want to do evaluation of this field. This custom field verifies whether the corrected amount is greater or equal than 3 milligram per milliliter, and the result is displayed in text form. So let's think, what is a field type and what is a data type here? Who wants to guess? You can put your answers in chat. Anyone else? Okay, I reveal it. Field type is big. Why not result? It's really often we misunderstand what is a peak, what is a result. That's why I often repeated this in. So here you see we have corrected amount calculated for each peak. So now we checked corrected amount by each peak. That's why it's a peak custom field. Yeah, we want to check all peaks, and we want to see this custom field in the peaks table. So it's also something like when you think which field type to pick up, just think, where do I want to see this custom field? And if you want to see it in the peaks table, it's definitely the peak custom field. Data type is Boolean, the one that we use for yes, no evaluations. So we can see this Boolean custom fields as asking a question with only 2 answers possible, yes and no. In our case, we ask, is the corrected amount greater than or equal 3 milligram per milliliter? If no, this custom field should give me the answer less than 3 milligram per milliliter. If yes, it should give me the answer greater than or equal 3 milligram per milliliter. So how do we create it? We just pick here, pick and bool, click next. and then go further. And before we go further to the result, let's go more thoroughly in the syntax of Boolean custom fields. So we have one question with two possible answers, and user defines the text output translation. So this is how we write our question. By operator, by operators, we can use from the list you've seen before, where we enter formula. This that I said that is similar that, as in Excel. So EQ, it's for the question equal. Is something equal that? GT greater than, GT greater than or equal, LT less than, LTE less than or equal, and AQ not equal. That is not the whole list. As said, you can find the whole list in the Power Help, but these are the most common ones. By field, we pick up the field where the question was relevant to, and value is our number we want to check. So let's take a look at this question. It asks, is the area of a pig greater than or equal 100? 100. Sorry, I click in the wrong place all the time. And when we create this custom field, we get a table with two values, 0 and 1. It's like binary system. 0 refers to the answer no, 1 refers to the answer yes. And here we write our own translation. Area is less than 100, for example, like this here. Or if yes, area is greater than or equal 100. That's what I want to be an output of this custom field. I hope you can remember this syntax. Please do it. Very important here, you put brackets, you put comma between field and value, and you don't put any spaces. No spaces, please. No spaces. Yeah, remember, no spaces in formulas. Good. We can also set two questions or more, combining them with this AND symbol. If both criteria are met, so this one and this one is met, then we get the answer yes. When some of them are no and only one or two yes, then you still get no. So if either all of them yes, then you get yes, or you get no answer. And also we have a possibility to use or. Is this yes or this yes? Yeah. One of the criteria must be met to give yes. Here, it's very also very critical. We don't use this slash, this one that is line name. We use this one. I forgot how it's called, but you can find it. So in your keyboard, if you look thoroughly at your keyboard, you can find this symbol. And it depending in which country you have your keyboard. So when I lived in Germany, it was next to Y. Now I have Switzerland keyboard, Swiss keyboard, and I have it by 7. I don't know how it works in French keyboard or American keyboard or in India. I have no idea, but you can also find it in when you put formula entry. You have it also in operations, you find this symbol. So why would we ever use something like this? For example, let's check your SST test. You have a lot of criteria, and all of them should be yes to give an answer, yes, SST pass. For example, here I have two questions. Is the resolution greater than or equal to, and is the signal to noise greater or equal 10? When both criteria are met, when both questions give yes, I give the yes answer. When some of them or both are no, I get the no answer. So that is how it looks when I write it in this value translation table. By 0, I enter SST fail. By 1, I enter SST pass. Good. So that is how it looks in our example. We want to ask if our corrected amount greater than or equals 3. And here in the translation definition table, we enter just our text that we want to be an output of this custom field. We give the name for this custom field, and then this custom field appears in the peaks table as a text. You see here is corrected amount 5. So it says it's greater, equal than 3. Here we have 2, it's less than 3. So when you validate your custom fields of such type, you need to always prove both situations. Yeah, you have to have data checking that if it's really greater than 3, it gives me the right answer, and if it's less than 3, it gives me also the right answer. Good. That was our 4th example. If you have any questions, please type them in the Q&A section. Paul, maybe I can get your question right now. What if equals 3 milligram per milliliter? Would that be a void answer? No, because my question is greater than or equal. So maybe I go to the formula. Sorry, so here, greater than or equal 3. So equal refers to the answer yes in this case. Yeah, greater than or equal corrected amount 3. So it refers to the answer yes. I hope I understood your question right and could answer it. So now we go to the 5th example. Peak position. Maybe it's not like popular custom field, and maybe it's not the custom you will ever create one day, but it's really good to explain this type of custom fields. So this custom field determines whether a peak appears at the beginning, middle, or end of the chromatogram based on its retention time. The result is displayed in text form. So does anyone want to guess what field type or data type is it? Oh, field type and data type. So we have a question regarding retention time. Retention time is a parameter of peak. Andreas, you're right in the first part. So it's a peak. Yeah, because we want to check every peak, so it's a peak, but we want to do an evaluation. And in this case, you see we have like 3 questions. Is it at the beginning? Is it at the middle? Is it at the end? So this one is enum, enumerated custom field. Let's take a closer look here. So we have here 3 questions. If my retention time, or if the retention time of the peak is less than 1, I want to get the answer beginning. If retention time lies between 1 and 1.5, it's middle. And if the retention time is above or greater than 1.5, then I should get the answer end. So I hope it's clear what I want here this custom field to do. I select peak, I select enum, enumerated. And before we go further, let's get a look at the syntax of those custom fields. So enumerated fields allow you to create a series of multiple questions where only the first yes answer is reported. So it's quite different from bool. By bool, we get like one question and we give yes, no answer. Here we only get yes answers, but we can set up to 100 questions, and we only get the answer to the yes question. And when we have like 100 questions and our value has answer yes to multiple questions, only the first yes is reported. I will explain it more times a bit later. So that is our syntax. Don't be afraid of it, it's quite simple. So what you see here, it's operator field value, the same one as we had in bool custom fields. So that is how we set question, operator field value. In enum, we set multiple questions. That's why we have more operator field value, operator field value. So depending how many you have, you type them. I have, in this case, let's say 3. I separate questions with commas. I put brackets around all questions, and I must put the enum word before all those questions. Each of my questions get its own value in the translation table. First question is value 0, and I define the translation to it. So if this question gets yes, this answer will appear. If this question gets yes, this answer will appear. If this question gets yes, this answer will appear. In the translation table, it looks like this. So Empower understands how many questions you have, and it will give you correspondingly these values. It starts with 0. A bit confusing. So I have 3 questions, but I have values up to 2, from 0 to 2. And here I just write my text, so what I want to be the output. So that's how it looks like in our example. So my first question is, if the retention time less than 1 minute, I want to get answer beginning. So that is the part in the formula. So I will always start with the word enum, bracket. Then I want to ask if the retention time less than 1, then it's RT retention time 1. Then I want to check this condition. If my retention time is less than 1.5, I get this answer middle. And if my retention type greater than 1.5, I get this answer. So maybe someone of you think, why did I put LTE and not like combination? Why actually it should be more than 1, but less than 1.5 to get middle? But as I put this question first, I already eliminated all peaks that are less than 1. Yeah. So now I will make your explanation in whiteboard how it works. And let me give you another example, not with retention times, with something else. So let's name it as enum. So just like that, this enum. Okay. So we take another example. So let's say we want to evaluate percent area. And we want to set 3 questions. First question So if the percent area less than 5%, if the peak has percent area less than 5, I want to have answer not relevant. If the peak has percent area from 5 till 50%, I get the answer additive. And if my percent area greater than 50%, I get the answer main component. And let's write the formula here. So we have, let's say we have here 3 questions. That is 1, that is 2nd, that is 3rd. We start always with the word annum. Annum, then bracket. And then let's write first question. So first operator, it's less than LT. Then bracket, percent area, comma, and value 5. That was my first question. I separate questions with commas. Second question, I will write here only if my percent area less than 50. LT percent area 50, comma. And the last question, greater than 50. GT percent area, comma, 50. And then I need second bracket to close this one. Nice. Okay, so like this. And now let's make a table. Let's say we have 3 peaks, A, B, and C peak. And we have percent area. By A, we have 70. By B, we have 27. And by C, we have 3. So how this enum custom field works? It goes by each peak. So first it takes the peak A and it checks. So it goes and checks first question. So let me enumerate them. So it takes the first question and we take a look. Is my percent area less than 5? No. Then it goes to the other question. Is my percent area less than 50? No. And it goes to the last. Is my percent area greater than 50? Yes. And now we get here the answer, main component. So it's always the yes answer is reported. The first yes answer, first yes answer. Now it will be more interesting. Let's go further. So peak B, 27%. Is here the area less than 5? No. Is here the area less than 50? Yes. And the answer then additive. So it even doesn't go further. Yeah, but I can make a cross for you here, but it will not check the further question. It stops here. And now pick C. So is the percent area less than 5? Yes. The answer is here is not relevant. And you may notice that it also less than 50 actually. But since the first yes is reported, there will be nothing here. So this will not be written. So nothing will be given here. Although it actually has 2 yes, but always the first yes is reported. That's why it's important in which order you set your questions. Yeah? So the order here matters because the first answer yes is being reported. So that is a very important moment here. I hope everyone understood it. I see a question here, the tricky one. Shouldn't the last big GT, otherwise your uncounted peak that is 50%, correct? Yes, it's correct. So in case we have a peak which has 5%, it doesn't refer to none of these conditions. And if we have peak 50%, it doesn't refer to any conditions. So actually, yeah, it's right, Paul. It would be better to write LT, for example, here and here GTE. Yeah. But I will say you never had this problem because you never get peak like 50% with how many? 13 decimals after it. 0.000000000. I hope you get it. Yes. So when I ask question, is my peak equals 50? I never get this yes, because I never get 50%, 50,000000000. It never happens. But yeah, when we work in GMP, we should say, okay, it also can happen. And either maybe you work with rounded values, then it certainly makes sense. Yeah, you're completely true. It should be, we also should put in case if something is equal. Good. So I hope now it's clear why I didn't put anything like range for this. I just put this LT, LT, GT. So here how it works, how it looks like in the translation table. I asked 3 questions. I entered 3 questions. I get 3 values here from 0 to 2. And I set my text output here, beginning, middle, end. And then this custom field appears in the peak table. Next, yeah, you see by each peak, I get the text output. So we are ready with example number 5, enum custom fields. Yeah, quite interesting, I think, but already more complicated. So if you have any questions regarding it, please put them in the Q&A section. And now we go further to our 6th example. Peak area ratio. This custom field calculates the ratio between the areas of peak A and peak B. So this one is the result field type because we take 2 peaks in consideration. So we're not doing calculation per peak. We do calculations between several peaks. So in our case, between 2 peaks. And here's an interesting part, also the formula, how we do the reference to the peak. So you see, I wrote the formula here, and here is a syntax to the reference for a peak. Peak name field, yeah, in this square brackets. Peak name field. Just a little remark here, because I used always to forget. Why can I switch to this? Yeah, I always forget, is it like field and then peak name, or is it peak name and field? And just for me, I make like this, you know, as in program, like how it's called? Helping me something. Like I have in my okay, I write it down. So to memorize it, what helped me to memorize it? I always say it's like in English, Lisa's pencil. Yeah, just I have it in my mind. Just Lisa's pencil. What is the name? Is Lisa, and then you say field is pencil, laser's pencil. That's why pick name comes first, then comes field. You never say it's a pencil of Lisa, so you will not write like area A, because it will be like pencil of Lisa. It sounds not like, it sounds strange. So it's always Lisa's pencil. So it's the same here. Pick names, field. So area of the field, or pick A, A's area. By pick name, you type here exact name of your pick, how it's called in your processing method, avoid typos. And you can also use here all these fields, C, cal, ref, C, comp, and so on. You know, these fields. So that is how we do the reference of the pick. So I think the formula is quite clear here, but I wanted you to know, to memorize this reference, so this formula, the reference to a specific pick. Okay, where do you find this field? The results custom fields are not seen in the picks table. So when you go to the review window, you should click the window tab and go to results here. I suppose not all know this. From my experience, not all know that there is such fenster, such window results. So how it looks like when you go inside. So you see always a picks table, and next to it, you see a table which is called chromatogram result. And there this custom field will appear. So you can, if you want, you can check it. So in our case, it's the area of pick A divided by area of pick B. So that is the answer. Yeah, looks like it's right. Right. So that was example 6. The main part of it, what is the result custom field? When you do calculations, including several picks. And the other part, how you write the reference. Yeah, Lisa's pencil to memorize this. And brackets, square brackets. Good. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A session. Give you one moment for that. So now we come to one of the most interesting parts of custom fields, intersample calculations. We haven't mentioned them before. These are the calculations that are done between different samples, between different results. So before that, we did all custom fields per result, per sample, per pick, but not between, like inside the whole sample set, when we need different samples to be combined. Here is an example. We want to calculate percent RSD of standards, very typical one. This custom field calculates the relative standard deviation of the main component areas in the standards. So for example, we have an sample set, it has 3 standards, it has 5 samples. And I want to do calculations between standards. I want to calculate their percent RSD deviation, percent RSD. Field type, result, or pick, it depends. If I want to do it for each pick, I would take pick. But if I want to do it only for the main component, I will pick up result. Yeah, and I specify which one of my 5 picks is my main component. So I took here result, and data type is real, and it's intersample calculation. That means we have really special syntax here. So how it looks like. That is a very important formula. Please memorize it. Label dot injection dot channel dot function brackets field. With this formula, we specify the Hoses intersample calculation, what exactly we want to calculate. With label, we define which samples are included in the calculation. Labels we set in the sample set. You definitely seen this column before, label. They are used for custom fields. I know that many people using them just like a comment field. Not bad, why not? You can enter something there, you can put anything there in this label. But actually, it's used for custom fields. So you put labels there. Yes, and you also use it for bracketing. Yeah, who knows? Yeah, for bracketing, quantitate, calibrate, we use also labels. So for two things, for bracketing sequences and also for custom fields. Injection. Here we define which injections are included in the calculations. For example, I inject my standards 3 times. I have three standards. Every one is 3 times injected. If I want to take, do I want to take all injections, first, second, and third? Or maybe I want to do calculations only between first injections. Happens rarely, but you have this option to define which injections you take. And channel, which channels are included in the calculation. For example, you're working with a PDA detector and you are measuring 2 different wavelengths. Do you want to do calculations per wavelength, or do you want to do it only for some definite wavelengths? Or do you want to mix those 2 wavelengths, results of 2 wavelengths together? That's what this channel does. Function. In our case, it's percent RSD. It can be sum, it can be average. Yeah, it can be everything possible. In our case, it's percent RSD. It's our function, what we want to do with our data. And field, area, percent area, amount, corrected amount, all types of fields. Let's take a look at our example. Oh, no, not yet. I want here to show you be detailed. So that is my sample set. I have 3 standards, 2 samples. That I wrote down how many injections I have per each line, and I set labels. By labels, you don't have really many rules here. Usually it's S used for standards and is U used for samples as unknowns. But you can pick any letters you want. You can use also numbers if you need. You can use more than one letter. Here I put S1, S2, S3, but I also could put SSS, depending how specific I want to be. So never forget labels if you use them in your calculations. And now let's try to get this formula. We want to get to calculate percent RSD of standards, area of peak A. So label, I want to do calculations for my standards. My standards have label from S1 to S3. To include all these labels, I write as percent. Percent is a placeholder. That means it takes all S's. And I hope you know what I mean. It takes all S. Then I put dot. Dots are really important here. Next, injection. I want to calculate it for all injections. So all 3 for each standard. So I have in total 9. Yes. Then, so I put here percent. So I take all of them. If I wanted to do it only for the first injections, I will put 1 here. Next, same, magic word. Here we use it for channels. Same means I take it for channels of the same type. So in case you have something like you measure wavelengths and you take pressure, you measure pressure. You don't want to do it for pressure, as these pressure channels come into your calculations. So you do it same, it means it only calculates it within the same channel type. Then you put your function, percent RSD, and then we put our field. It's area of peak A. We've already learned how to do reference. Lisa's pencil. Lisa is A, pencil is area. Yeah. When I typed it here, you see I have a space here. Please, no spaces. Yeah, it looks like a space, but no, you don't need space. Good. So this is some explanation. So I hope you got it, how we wrote it. Now let's go further to the wizard, custom field wizard. And here where this one really matters, search order, search order. My recommendation, always use result set only order. Unfortunately, it's not the default option. The default option is result set first. What does it mean? It's the question, which one does Empower takes into the calculations? Which results are taken in the calculations? Normally, you want to calculate within one result set. You don't want Empower pick out results from whole your project and calculate them together. Maybe sometimes you need to build such complex custom fields, but normally it's always within one result set. Yes, that's why result set only. It's really very common mistake. Yeah, that we forget it, and then Empower takes the results not only from my result set, but also from other results from my project. Sounds crazy, but it can do it. Yeah. Then we put our formula, and then that's it. Here are some tips regarding into-sample calculations. Don't forget to set labels in the sample set. Define your own rules how to set them. There are no rules from Empower side. Just it should be unique. So it should be within your company should be equal. So you can use same custom fields in different projects, and you always know, okay, you know that you always mark your standards with S. You always mark your blank with B. Yeah, you always mark your samples with U. But you can use everything here. It's not necessary to use these letters. Then, when we do intersample calculations, we need summarize custom field function in the end of your sample set. Is also often forgotten. Summarize custom fields function. And important to know, calculations run during the processing step and are visible only in the result set. So sometimes you just take your sample set, go to review, and all previous custom fields that we discussed, you already will see the calculations in your sample set before processing it. But here, they will not appear there. So you need to process and then look at the result set there where they all be calculated. One more thing here. So how it actually works with intersample calculations. First, Empower integrates, calculates your basic fields, so creates results. And only when it goes to the last line here, it does this summarize custom fields. So it takes all your results and looks, okay, where are the results that match label S, injection doesn't matter which, I take all of them and I use the same channel and I calculate area percentage of area of peak A. Yeah? I hope it's clear. Yeah, so yeah, when you need to process your sample set to get these calculations. Great, we are ready with our examples. So we have one more chapter to follow. I'm just looking at my clock that we have 20 minutes left, but I suppose we need a bit more time for the Q&A session. Maybe we will prolong our webinar. Maybe we take 15 minutes more. Okay, so tips for avoiding common mistakes and getting the most from your setup. Just a couple of slides here with some tips. So 7 steps to custom field. Here, like a little algorithm I put, like what do you need to do when you create your custom field. So first, you need to ask you a question, do I really need a custom field? What does it mean? There are already so many fields calculated in Empower, default fields. And sometimes you want to calculate something, for example, signal to noise, but it's already calculated in Empower, so you don't need extra custom field to create for this. Also, maybe you already have similar or the same formula in another project, so you don't need easy to calculate it. You just can copy your custom field to another project. Then, plan your formula on paper first. So write your mathematical formula and then copy it, so translate it into Empower syntax. For complicated formulas, it's like the easiest way to do it. And because you need to know Empower syntax, so first think in your mathematical way how you would calculate it, and then translate it into Empower syntax. Then define all parameters, like do I need to calculate it only for standards, only for unknowns, what are my field types, data types, and so on. Create it in a test project. That's what I said already many times, never do it in your working projects. Yeah. You don't want someone to report the custom fields that not been validated, report this data, yeah, in your real data. Then validate. So validate means you check if this custom field works properly by all conditions. And lock it. Yeah, so nobody modifies it. And the last step, copy it to your working projects. Yeah. Yeah. Recommendation, you always should have a good overlook of your custom fields. So it's great when you maybe also create some project in between. Let me, so I always make such picture in the training. So you have one project like test project. So here you create custom fields, you modify them if you need, and you check them, check, validate, and you log them. So let's say it's something like your gray zone. Don't know if you see, but I'm doing this with a gray pencil. So that is your gray zone. You can do here everything. Then you copy your custom field to another project. We can name it like custom field database. So that is your green zone, where you have all your validated custom fields here that are staying, like that you have, that you can use, that are proven, that are really checked ones, logged ones, validated ones. So here you have all validated custom fields. And the next, if you want to use these custom fields, you just copy them to your working project. So it's really important to have a good overview of the custom fields are available for you. Yeah, so you don't do unnecessary work creating new custom fields for each project, although they have the same formula. Then naming. You already talked about these rules. We are not allowed to use spaces. We are not allowed to use special characters. Here are some extra rules. Use functional names, easiest to follow and understand. Something like that, %RSD standards amount. Yeah, so you can you see the names of custom field and you can understand what it does. Avoid confusion. For example, you have in different projects custom fields that are called the same but have different formula, very confusing, or you have same formula by different name. Yeah, just overwhelming. You just did 3 times validation of the same custom field only because it's called differently and you forgot that you already have this custom field. Keep track of all your custom fields with clear, consistent naming. Common mistakes to avoid: mixing up peak versus result data types. Typos in formulas. Always pick fields from the list, don't type manually. Unnecessary spaces. Formulas rarely require spaces. And missing labels or missing summarized custom field function in the sample set. Yeah. So maybe when you do troubleshooting in your custom field, just look at those slides. Then also very important, always close and reopen the project before testing a new custom field. There is a reminder when you create a new custom field, it says to update the custom field changes, restart any application currently using the affected project. So what I always do, when I know I want to create a new custom field, I just close my project where I created. And then I created custom field, I open a project. It's something like update. Yes, so it updates custom fields in the project when you close the project. So reopen the project. So always do it. Sometimes it's not a problem by simple custom fields, but it can be problematic when you have some complex calculations. Yeah, always close the project before you create it and create a new custom field. Great, we are ready with our main part. Now, take your time and write your questions in the Q&A section. Before we go to the Q&A session, I just want to give you a short overview of the services we provide by LabWissen. So at the moment, we're specializing in Empower trainings at consulting. So if you need any assistance, I'd be really happy to support you. We have a variety of trainings developed, both for beginners and advanced users. So there is like standard Empower beginner and Empower analyst training, both suitable for beginners. This one is 8 hours, like a one-day training. This one, 16 hours, more advanced, more deep and more intensive, and more required for GMP environments. Both trainings go actually the same scenario. We learn how we perform analysis from data collection to report generation. But Empower Analyst has more intensive processing part, more intensive reporting part, yeah, a little bit of data review. So it's more GMP, yeah, this direction. Then we also have advanced trainings like custom fields. Yeah, so now we have like 2 hours. I say you truly, when I did repetition of this webinar because it's first time I'm doing this webinar, and it took me 1 hour, 20 minutes. Yeah, that's why I said, okay, we have plenty of time for Q&A session. Now I said, okay, yeah, oh, first almost our time, but I hope you don't mind if we take a bit longer, or you can watch recording afterwards. But you see, so we took 2 hours to learn these basics of custom fields, and I say it's even much more. Yeah, so in the custom fields training, it's really 8 hours, and sometimes I need like a bit more because we go through different examples here. Also, at the training, I ask you before training to send me some your requirements or maybe some your examples so we can build them together. And there are also many extra things we can do with custom fields, extra functions, also like how to use them in your report methods, how to use this CCAL ref fields, and other things. So I said 20% we've learned now. There are 80% more. Okay, maybe not 80, maybe Like we learned 40 and we have 60 more. Then there is also processing training where we just go through all steps in the processing method, discussing how we set impurity tab, how we set suitability tab, how we set integration parameters, what is the difference between Apex track and traditional algorithm. So all these advanced processing things. Reports, quite simple training, but still takes one day. How to create report methods in Empower, because yeah, this report publisher tool is not like really user friendly. So yes, it takes one day to learn it. Then data to review, GMP, how we work with audit trails, how we work with view filters, where do we find manual integration, how we work with it. And PDA, if you're working with 3D data, with spectrums, with this library searching, purity of spectra, that's it. Okay, and there is also one more training, Empower Expert, that was designed for users that already use Empower for quite a long time and want to get more deepen knowledge in processing, in reporting, in some administrative tasks. So this training is quite flexible. I just make it on your requirements. Yeah. So what you want to learn, some specific cases. We provide trainings in English and German. So I worked by Waters in Germany, so it was mostly German. So now I have to get used to English by this webinar, but no problem, I suppose. I hope you could understand me good. Yeah, and format, online and on-site, mostly online. Yeah, on-site in Switzerland, possible. In other countries, it's quite difficult. But online works also very good. And by online trainings, it's not like by the webinar that you're just sitting here and looking, watching. It's more that you're working with me in your Empower. So we work with your project, with your data. Yeah, it's more interactive because learning Empower, only watching it like one day, 8 hours. I think you will not learn anything from it. So I do trainings in interactive format that with some quizzes, with tasks. So you really work with me in Empower. So consulting, we also provide consulting. So here are the options we do, like anything you need. Yeah, so we can answer your questions, troubleshoot your situations, develop custom fields, support you by documentation, help desk, like if you need or have urgent questions, optimization of your workflows. So everything, all Empower related topics, all Empower relevant tasks. What we don't do, install and Empower. No. So we are specifying more on end user trainings, end user consulting. That's it. So 7 minutes we have. I think we'll do maybe like 15 minutes more, depending on how many questions we have in the Q&A. In case I don't get through all the questions, I write you per email. Yeah, I write you the answers per email. So that was the main part of the webinar. So maybe if some people need to leave punctual directly at the time, I will thank you. I thank you already for your time, for being these 2 hours here. I really appreciate your time. I know it's not easy to find 2 hours. Sometimes I find it's even difficult to find half an hour for training. So thank you all for being here these 2 hours. I'm happy you were here and I hope you learned a lot and this training was useful for you. Now, let us go to the Q&A session. I think I need to scroll down, so I go from the first one to the highest. Okay, there are not so many questions. Where would you select that this field is a prerequisite for the sample set before acquiring your data? I cannot show, so it was for your question. So I think it refers to the sample set custom field we created at the beginning, analysis comment. So I showed you that you can find it in the auto sample window. Let me go quick to this question, this slide. I think it was this one. Yeah, analysis comment. So it's auto sample window sample set information. Unfortunately, I cannot show you just now directly in Empower, but you can also find the sample set information window when you write your sample set method. There is also possibility to enter this comment there. Or you enter it afterwards, after you acquired the data and after you got your sample set. Bayan, please go over the field type and there are the criteria. I did not catch this. So let's go here to the field type and data types. So field types. First, when you create your custom field, you think two ways. First question is it input field or is it output field? If it's input field, you have sample. This refers to each line of your sample set. So you can give a text, maybe some value, to each line, to standards, to your samples, to your controls, each line of the sample set. That is sample custom field. Sample set, it's like only one for the whole sample set. Yeah, only one. Component is we use it for further calculations. It appears in the component editor next to your value and purity. You have, for example, in our case, it was factor, but it doesn't bring you anything if you don't use it in the further calculations. So it's when you want to put some kind of value per peak, per sample, for example, standards for peak A, for peak B. So component, you put it per sample, per peak. Output fields, result. When you have one calculation for the whole result, example here, I want to calculate average of amount. So I take all amounts of my peaks and calculate average of amount. Strange example, sorry for that, but just what my fantasy brought me now. So result. But if you want to calculate per peak, for example, area multiplied with something, that is a peak custom field. Yeah. So it's so often this misunderstanding, is it peak or is it result? Distribution, we didn't cover it here. I also don't cover it in the trainings because it's not popular, the GPC option. So, and data types. Let's make it short and understandable. If you do calculations, it's always real. If you need input field, like just a text, a comment, then text. If you do evaluations, you have to pick up between bool and enum. Both, that is a yes/no answer. Enum, that is many questions, and you only get one. You get only one answer to the first yes. Good. So then I hope I answered your question. If you want, you can write another question to specify it. I go further. Can you please go through the previous slide once more? Sorry, a big check. I don't know where it refers to. You get the recording, you get the presentation. So I hope you remember which slide was it. So yeah, I hope you can go through it by yourself. Anyway, if you have questions after the webinar, you can write me an email, yes? And I can answer them afterwards. So amount is a pre-existing custom field in Empower. Exactly. So let me go here where it was. No, amount is not the existing custom field. It's just a field. It's not a custom field. These are the custom fields. For example, column name, column serial number, dilution, level values, sample matrix, sample name, and sample weight. These are default custom fields in Empower. I always ask me a question, why are those custom fields and not normal key fields? The answer is why, because you can modify them. For example, column name, actually it's a bool custom field. It's not text, it's a bool. There is some kind of bug in Empower. So column name, you can put your column names here and you get a list of column names and you can pick up which column you are using. Yeah. You can adjust the other one. Sample matrix is enum. Here's right. So it's just a text input, like drop-down list where you can pick up which sample matrix was used. Yeah, and you can modify them like widths. You can modify widths, precision, some things. So amount is not a custom field. It's just a regular field in Empower. So what if equals 3 milligram per milliliter? Yes, we discussed it. It was a question. Let me go to the operators. So when you're working with bool and enum custom fields, you use operators like these ones. GT or GT, greater than or equal. Yes, less than or less than equal. As I said, Empower calculates always with all decimals. So when we have a value in Empower, it's always 15 characters. Yes, and Empower calculates always with all these 15 numbers. So if I ask, is my area equal greater than 100? Or if I ask, is my area greater than or equal 100? I don't think it will make big difference. It's only more like GMP. From GMP point of view, I need to include also area 100 in my calculation. But like you need really area 100 and 11 more zeros after it to be this equal. Or you can use round values. There is a function where we get round, so we can round values, and then can use these values for further calculations. How would it look if corrected amount check is empty? Stefan, thank you for this question. So you will get an empty field, and if your custom field couldn't be calculated, you will get a certain peak code or result code starting with C. So in your Empower help, if you go to the peak codes, this is this letter and number, you will see there is a separate area of codes with C. They all refer to calculations of custom fields. So if custom field couldn't be calculated, you also get an extra code, either by peak code or by result code. Yeah. Yes, you all get the copy of the record per email. Actually, it will come automatically. All participants get the record, yeah, of this training, so you can watch it, you can share it. Yeah. Don't put it in the social media, please, but you can watch the recording afterwards. Yeah, and you get the slides. Then a question, could you show slide 47? Here it is. I hope there is no mistake you've noticed, Paul. Another question, very good one. Is close and project for all users? Yes, yes, yes. Usually you don't have this problem, like when you create a custom field, So from my experience, you have a lab, maybe you have 10 analysts, and you usually have 1 or 2 people, better 2, that are very good in custom fields. So you create, that's only you who create custom field in a test project. Yeah. So I cannot assume there are simultaneously like 10 people working in this project, but yeah, better close it. So usually it's like one person developing custom field, another one checking the custom field, working on validation, and then you get copy this project to the copy this custom field to other projects. So one tip here or note, usually in the lab we really have 1 or 2 people, 3 people who are good in custom fields, and it doesn't really make sense make all analysts be good at custom fields. Why? Because it's something like a skill. If you don't use it, you lose it. The same with custom fields. If you don't really practice it, you forget, and your brain is not working this right way when you need to do complicated calculations. So it's better one person always does, and this person has its own like algorithms, ways how to create a custom field. It's not necessary that all analysts can do this, right? So my opinion to this point. Maybe you think it's other. It's great when all know about custom fields. Why not? Um, wow, such a great question. All right, I take it. I write you an email. Is it okay? So we don't go through it now. I need to check it by myself. So it's regarding system pressure maximum. But when I wrote the first sentence of your question, I already thought about this knowledge base article. So I will check it later and I'll write an email. So if you have any further, there are some further questions. Okay, I scroll it up. Do you offer certifications for these trainings for non-working Empower users? I was late of. Yes, so all of you can get a certification for this training. You get an email. Um, I write it either today or tomorrow. So latest tomorrow, you get an email with a link to a surveys combined with a test. So if you don't need a certification, you just want to leave a feedback, you just can complete survey. If you want to get a certifications, you have to complete survey and test, but you can skip the questions of the survey. And when you complete the test, and if you get 70% of it, you get automatically your certificate. So it will be sent for you automatically from the app. Yeah. And for the other trainings, if you participate on my training, you definitely get also certificate from me. Yep, no problem. I always get certificates, give certificates. So it's like a participation certificate. Usually when I do trainings, I do a bit more like kind of, yeah, not really exam, but I check your knowledge. So I know that you learned the most important things from this training, and then I give you a certificate. Is it possible to get a complete list of default custom fields in Empower? There is no such race. So actually, if you mean the custom fields that appear by every new project, so you will see them in the project, and that's it. There are 7 of them, but there is no other list of the most common custom fields used. I think so by Waters, we had something like this, like, we have custom fields. I know it's often used. So like everyone creates their own database of custom fields. So when it's something similar comes up, it's easier to create a new one. Follow-up to the first question I asked, I want my scientist to enter the column information into the sample set prior starting an analysis. If not entered, then a window will pop up stating this information must be entered to start your run. Can you show that? I cannot show it now in the Empower, but to do this, that's true. That is the sample set custom field, and you need to check. I will go. You need to make this data entry required. So when you create this custom field, you make this one. Data entry is required. Yes. So you will not be able to start your sample set method before entering information there. Yeah. And when you save your sample set method, when you start your analysis and you don't have information in this custom field, it will give you this pop-up. It will not be able to save it. Yes, I can send you screenshots where you can find it. So where you can put it inside. I hope that's okay like that. Yeah, but you find it when you write sample set, you find it. Good. So we went through all questions. So that's great. No, not so many questions. I hope you understood everything I told you. And if any questions come later, you're very welcome to write me an email. In the end of this presentation, I go fast through it now. You see here the email where you can contact me. So info@labwissen.com. I suppose many of you came to this webinar via LinkedIn. Yeah, you can also contact me via LinkedIn. And you can also visit our website, labwissen.com. There you have a formula for a contact formula, yes? So you can write directly there. So use the best way you want. And yeah, I hope you really learned a lot today and that you found this time useful. It's always sad when you go out of the webinar and you haven't learned anything. So I hope it was not waste of time. So it was really useful for you. Thank you for your interest in this great topic. And maybe we'll see us later in some other training or consulting. I'll be very happy to support you and your team. So have a great day. I hope you like this session. Many thanks. So great day to you. And who knows, maybe we see us also at the next webinar. I haven't planned anything yet, but maybe you can write me if you have interest in the other webinar. Yeah, we can pick up the topic for the next one. So bye-bye. Have a wonderful evening, day, depending on your time zone. Bye-bye.